Hello class. Today we're going to finish up cellular respiration, and so we're going to be looking, we already have talked about how organic compounds come in, and then we go through the glycolysis process and we produce 2 ATP, and then we have gone through the oxygen absent side, which is fermentation. If oxygen is not present, we're doing some type of quick explosive activity. You can only do that for a period of time before those muscles start building up lactic acid, because you're using up more energy than you're making, since you're not making any energy there. We're going to go to this side now, the oxygen present, and talk about aerobic respiration, and then look at how much ATP is made at this point. So we're now looking at the aerobic respiration side, and if you're in your notes packet, this is going to be the right side of that chart that we have in there. And this is going to occur when oxygen is present. So this is your normal activities, like right now sitting at a desk, you're feeling that normal, you're taking in oxygen, it's a normal activity. And your body is producing ATP while you sit there. You're using some, but not using as much as you're making. In this one, it will produce more ATP, nearly 20 times as much as is produced by glycolysis alone. So glycolysis only really gives us 2 ATP. It uses 2, makes 4, so we really only get 2 out of it. In this process, when we have oxygen present, we're going to make a whole lot of ATP. It does take place in the mitochondria, so you may want to write that in as a note. And there's 2 main stages: Krebs cycle and electron transport chain. So you can see here, there's a picture of the mitochondria. We have glucose that enters, ATP, a little bit is made, NADH is made, and then pyruvate, if we stop there, if there's no oxygen present, that pyruvate will turn into lactic acid. If by chance we have the oxygen present, we're going to head into these parts of the mitochondria called the matrix, and this is where we're going to start that Krebs cycle and eventually see a whole lot of ATP. You can see here that CO2 is coming out, O2 is going in at this point in this spot, and so water is being produced here at this spot as well. So CO2 and H2O end up being products of cellular respiration. So the Krebs cycle, discuss that here just a little bit. It occurs in the matrix of the mitochondria, and these are the inner membranes. They kind of go back and forth like snake around the membrane, or snake around the mitochondria. And basically what happens is it takes acetyl-CoA, it is just a chemical, you just kind of have to know that that's what it is, it's just a chemical, and it produces carbon dioxide, hydrogen atoms, and ATP. So those are the 3 things you get out of the Krebs cycle. So one glucose molecule gives 2 cycles of the Krebs cycle, and it will produce 6 NADH, 2 FADH2, 2 ATP, and 4 CO2. Again, it's really just chemicals. You kind of just have to learn them as that. You don't have enough chemistry background to be able to get into what all those are. The electron transport chain is where we're going to get all of our energy. So this is the second stage of aerobic respiration. And it occurs along the folds, so going back and forth across those folds, which are called cristae of the mitochondria. It's kind of like doing this concentration gradient idea with electrons. And so when that happens, we're going to see ATP produced. And what it will do is it takes the 4 NADH from glycolysis and produces 12 ATP. It takes 6 NADH from the Krebs cycle and produces 18 ATP. It takes 2 FADH2 from the Krebs cycle and produces 4 ATP. In total, we get 34 ATP out of electron transport chain. It might be abbreviated on some of your things as ETC, so in case you see that, at least you'll know what that stands for. So overall, cellular respiration will give us a total of 38 ATP. If by chance you are filling in the chart that's in your packet, glycolysis, when it occurs is when sugar is present. Where it occurs is right outside of the mitochondria. We'll go back to that page so you can see that. Right here. So it occurs right here inside that kind of liquidy stuff inside the mitochondria. Number of ATP that are produced is 2, and then other products you get NADH. Anaerobic respiration, when it occurs, is without oxygen, where it's just in this mitochondria still. We just have lactic acid that will get built up. ATP produced will be 0. Other products are lactic acid. Alcoholic fermentation, same as lactic acid, but it's going to have alcohol products as its products. Aerobic respiration is with oxygen. And so we have the Krebs cycle. Once you come in here, it's also called citric acid cycle. And then we have electron transport chain. So those we just had here, pull those back across. We have Krebs cycle products right here. And we have electron transport products right here. Okay, and then the entire process gives you 38 ATP. Now, if we want to really put all of this together, we can explain how photosynthesis and cellular respiration come together and work together. So photosynthesis will use light energy, carbon dioxide, and water, and in that process, that goes into the chloroplast, all of those things into the chloroplast, which are inside of a plant cell, and it produces sugar and oxygen. Sugar and oxygen get absorbed by the mitochondria of an animal cell, and you can see that's just a organelle inside of the animal cell. And when that happens, it will produce carbon dioxide and water and lots of ATP for that organism. So this cycle is very important. Remember, we said that if we didn't have plants or photosynthetic organisms, we would not have other animals. So photosynthesis is a key to other animals being here or other life being here on Earth. You will need to know this relationship and be able to explain that as well when we go through quizzes or worksheets and things like that.